There we go. Just trying to get the volume just right. Might have to turn it down if anybody joins the conversation. What do I have to say today? Tipping point. I guess I would say, wow, what a blurry situation here. Maybe I should rise. Let me rise up. There we go. What kind of feeling do you get? What do you think? What do you think the deal is? You know, if something's tipping, like a chair, for instance, you're either going to fall back on all fours, or you're going to fall on your backside. One of the two. One of the two is going to happen. Make sure that my mic is on. I think it is. Yeah. We're working. It's working. We're working. Yeehaw. So I halfway considered streaming outside. I decided against it. The mosquitoes are an incredible deterrent. I have to cover myself from head to toe in order to be outside. Last year it was a drought. This year it's remained very wet. Very wet. So, how about this for a verse to look at? For the wicked man boasts in the cravings of his heart. He blesses the greedy and reviles the Lord. In his pride, the wicked man does not seek him. In all his schemes, there is no God. How about that? How is that related, huh? What do you think? What do you think? What kind of idea do you get when you think of what's going on? You think we're about to fall on our behind? You think we're going to land back on all fours? Did the chair get ripped out from underneath us? What do you think? To me, I think that we're going to land back on all fours, but not in the same room that we were in. So a little bit of both. A little bit of both. If I was going to go into metaphor land, that's how I would describe it. That's how I would describe it. Well, this weekend and next week, I'm gonna be doing lots of work, rebuilding the back porch. Next Tuesday, I get folks to look at my foundation, the crumbly foundation. It's been crumbling for 40 years, at least. You ever look at a thing? You ever start out to do a thing that you don't know how in the world you're going to be able to do it, but you start anyway? You ever do that? You ever quit your job and move to a new city with no home to head to and no job to head to? You ever do that? You ever start a project that you have no idea how you're going to accomplish it? You don't even know what it's going to look like when it's done? You ever do that? I don't know. I don't know about you, but I've done that way too many times. Well, who's to say how many too many is? But I've been there more than once. And I just wonder, these people with their stories and their narratives and their propaganda and their programming, you think they see the end? You think they even have an idea of what they want? You know, a couple of days ago I was reading an angry tweet. Somebody said, why on earth would the doctors give something to someone that was going to kill them? Because that would just take away their customers. And I wasn't surprised by this person's ignorance, but I was disappointed. I don't know. Just think about these sorts of things. I want you to think about services and products that people sell that are permanent, that aren't meant to be replaced. They're meant to be a forever purchase. Interestingly enough, there are products and services that are meant to be a forever thing. They're meant to be a forever thing. I mean, you could make an argument that if you break an arm and the doctor puts a cast on your arm, that's a forever product. They have no inclination or desire necessarily for you to break your arm again. They didn't cause you to break your arm, more than likely. That'd be quite a conspiracy of all I've heard. But there are also so many people in a position where they're not they don't have a vested interest in providing a service. I think the music's too loud. What do you think? I think the music's too loud. Too loud. Too loud. Just gonna pause it out. I'm just gonna pause it. I don't know what I'm doing here. There we go. I have to oh my gosh, 1 pixel is too much. It's 1 pixel. Why does it feels like it goes from 0% to 15%? Is that just me? I think there's not a it's because it's vocals. It's what it is. think it's the vocals. That's what's going on. So I'm used to non non-word music, so that's the problem. If you're interested, though, this would be a Chris Howland playlist. I'll post the link for anybody's wanting to look this up at a later time. You can check that out on YouTube, Discord, and Twitch. It stands to reason that there are people that provide services that have no vested interest in not providing you a service again someday. Just think about those two. Think about people that provide services and products that if you come back again, there's nothing that they can do that would make you come back again. It's of your own accord. I think the industry that I work in is one of those, although there is such a thing as repeat customers. But not in a typical way, you would think. I don't know. But a doctor. Less so than the doctor, and more so the administrator. The administrator, and more so the administrator of the hospital, for instance. Although that's important. But the cooperative? The cohort? I don't know how you'd put that exactly. But the one who works with the administrator of hospitals. In order to thrive, they need customers. It's as simple as that. And if they provide cures, at what rate would they run out of customers is the question. Well, of course, the immediate rebuttal would be, who says that they could? I'm not saying that they could, but if they could. So the question is really not about permanent cures necessarily, but we're talking about net benefit. What's the net benefit? Hello. I'm just rambling off the top of my head. Philosophical questions about our world and the tipping point and logic related to these things. Can't talk but can listen. Well, that's fine. So is there a net benefit is the question. Is there a net benefit that the hospital provides? And in conjunction with that question, is it in the vested interest of a hospital system to provide a net benefit? Now, if we could work with something so simple as a permanent cure to whatever ails you, that would make this an easy question. Because I could work out mathematically the average number of people that visit the hospital, take into consideration the number of repeat visits, but that you'd have to rule out repeat visits of the same presenting symptoms versus new symptoms, different type. You have to take that in consideration. And then you could mathematically determine whether or not, based on birth rate and death rate, a hospital could ever run out of customers. And why would you perform such a mathematical equation? Regardless of how plausible doing that math even is, you would run that math in order to establish the Stillman argument of hospitals are in a vested interest to have a net positive benefit. And they could never possibly need to make people sick mathematically. But that's the question. Do they need to? On the flip side, I think you could establish the question, is there a certain percentage of people that only go to the hospital once or twice in their entire life? And what percentage is that? And by once or twice, I'm referring to birth and potentially death. But in some cases, that's why I'm saying once or twice. Are there people that don't go ever in a lifetime? And I'm talking about a full lifetime, not like some weird short span lifetime. I don't know. These are questions that I don't know that there are immediate answers for. But they're the sort of things I think about. They're the sort of things I think about. I was going to address the topic of toolbox fallacies. The things we don't do because we have excuses not to. Thus, the toolbox fallacy example being that you're not going to go fishing until you get your toolbox, even though you have everything that you actually need. So often when you become defiant, when you get fed up, so to speak, when you become defiant against your own excuses, it's a bit of work. It's a bit of work. It's easy, or it's definitely simple. It's simple. I might have said easy too hastily, though. Might have said easy too hastily. The toolbox. The toolbox fallacy. Sometimes you just need to do the thing that you know you're supposed to be doing. Or stop doing the thing that you know you're not supposed to be doing. I guess it goes both ways. What do we got here? You guys want to see the update? I know you do. You could just listen to me ramble. Or we could look at this. I hope this works. Right. I hate when the camera... I don't know how to change what the camera does. Because the camera acts really weird. It's so fast. Alright. Is there a software for the cam? Nope. I have Discord open, so I'm in Discord. And then I could probably show you this. Sure, I could show you this. So we're going to create an infinite regress. There's probably a name for this cascadey inception of nonsense. This is Streamlabs. Whee! Oh, gee. Gee. I hate it when that happens. You shake a window around. Apparently I have a hotkey set up. We're going to click that, and then we're going to click that, and we'll be back in business. Oh, whoops, I need to click this other one too. All right, there we go. So basically, it's just screen capture in Discord, and that's that. And a camera. Got plugged into my computer, and then my headset does the audio. It's pretty simple. Pretty simple. All right, so here's my porch I'm going to be working on. All right. What you got here? That's cool. Thanks. All right. So I've watched so many videos. Watched so many videos. By the way, I still don't have the blue wood, but one day I will finish the porch. I haven't even started, but they don't have the wood I need at the place where I've been getting my wood. So, and I don't have the means anyway. So, oh well. All right. I think the camera is now doing what I wanted it to do. So that's good. There's this mode where the camera stays in place, and that's a very annoying mode. I don't know why it does that sometimes. This is Tinkercad. All right, so my main concern, here's the deal. This is going to be on concrete. I'm gonna do a post. What do you call these things? They're what are they called? No, it's not that. I can't remember what they're called. Offset, something offset. It keeps the wood off the. So anyway, concrete is there. Concrete will be there, and concrete will be there. This is dirt or grass and dirt. This is grass and dirt. Well, you never do that. You shouldn't do that. That's stupid. No, I'm not doing that. I am going to be using a foundation screw. So it's a auger that screws into the ground 48-ish inches, and then provides a spot for the post to go into, and it gets screwed, and there you go. It's not in the ground. The auger is in the ground. Now, being that I've never chalked a line or spray painted lines or put rebar into the ground and drawn strings. I don't have rebar, I don't have strings, and I'm hoping that I can use a stake of some kind, a dowel maybe, something, caveman it, so to speak, even though, you know, cavemans are fake. The plan is to use my tape measure and some type of stake. Because the most important thing, as far as I understand it, I've got my position. I know exactly where the corner here is going to be, because I'm measuring off of the corner of the house. That's what this little. So I'm using. This isn't an object. This white piece here. Why is it not moving for me? You click. You click something and like all of a sudden it just starts acting wacky. See, the camera's all jacked up now, and now it's like. I tell you what, sometimes this is really annoying. I don't know. I don't get it. I really don't get it. Anyway, this piece right here, this white piece, is 48 units, which is in this case inches. So I know to go with the edge of my ledger is going to be 48 inches from the corner of the house. And I used this little guy. This one here, I wonder if that'll work. Yeah. So I use this guy to know exactly where. What? Oh, gee. Disconnected. You start messing with things, and it gets whacked out. All right. Well, anyway, I use this guy as kind of a piece to know where everything was. So it's the edge. Anyway, you gotta kind of improvise when you're using a tool like this, because the grid system, though it's there when you're trying to do something with the grids. I don't know. It's just awkward. I don't like it here. Just put that back where it belongs. I just had it there for kicks and giggles. The brown thing here and the yellow thing don't really represent much of anything except measurements for myself. This is the entire side of the house, of the mudroom. The house itself is a little bit wider, but the edge of the mudroom is the back porch side of the house anyway. Now I really am rambling. This blue is supposed to represent the back door, and there you go. So, as a noob, and having watched, I don't know, probably 50 hours worth of porch building videos, I really don't like this. What is happening? Okay, whoa. I'm gonna do the best I can, and I will probably put a block here and here and here and here. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I've got the wood to do that. I just haven't drawn it because that's kind of like before I put the boards, but not a big deal. And some people will be like, why don't you have those blocks that go in the middle? Because the span is not greater than 8 foot and I don't need to. Local waste where you can retrieve. Is there a local waste where you can retrieve tools and material? I don't know about what exactly you're asking, but no, not really. If you're talking about like, can I get repurposed material? Not really. There's a dump 45 minutes away, but I can't retrieve stuff from the dump. Plus, yeah. Now I did watch them destroying a house the other day, ripping a house down, and it had metal roof that was almost looked new. And I was just like, do you know how disappointing it is to see something that you need just getting crumpled up and thrown away? You know, that's really not a good feeling. Not a good feeling. Like, no joke. Just, it looked brand new. The house was super old. It was a Band-Aid. They were putting a metal roof on a decrepit, ridiculous home. But the roof, the metal roofing was perfect. From appearances, at least, I mean. But yes, this is the plan. Oh, let me show you the herringbone. So you have to imagine the herringbone because I don't know how to do cutaways in this app, but you can pretty much see what I'm doing there. And you're like, how in the world are you going to safely secure the tip of that on the edge? Because there's just a tip and just a tip and just a tip. Well, that's a fine question. I am going to run a stringer from right here down, and then I'm going to run another tiny I don't even know if you call it a stringer at that point when it's just for one step. But yeah, I'm gonna make one of those too. So there'll be one going here down, and then there'll be one from here going down, and that will take care of that. Now, as for here, right here, this step I'm not concerned about. I'm not really concerned about this step because it's supported. We're talking about 3 or 4 inches overhang, and there's not going to be enough torque. Now I know that there's some people that would be like, oh, just put a domino in there, or a biscuit or whatever different names there are for these sorts of things, but domino it and then connect it, and then you're supporting it that way. And I could do that. I have dowels. I could definitely do dowels, but I thought that putting dowels in stairs might not be I don't know if anybody's ever done it. First of all, I have seen the dowels. But that wasn't for structural strength. That was for flushness. If I did dowels, I have a feeling that over time shrinkage would occur. There would be gapping, and you would then see the dowels, and it would look awkward. So that's a thought. And then I just don't think that dowels would necessarily be the structurally sound. I mean, I could be wrong. It's an idea. But I feel like I would only need to do that if I was trying to not do the extra stringer here and the extra stringer here. So I don't know. That's what I haven't figured out yet, is exactly how I'm going to manage that. But I think that my solution, again, this one's not of no concern. This one isn't really either. So yeah, anyway. Foundation screw. How about this feature over here? These 3 4x4s. Yeah. Why does this get so slow to zoom in? I don't understand this thing sometimes. Whatever. These 3 4x4s are going to be outside. Plan is to lag them. Oh, carriage bolts. The plan is to lag them. 3 and just over 3.5. I guess it's 3 and is it 3 3/4? It's either 3.5 or 3 3/4. But I'm going to use a 5-inch. So 3 and a 6. So technically, I could use a 6-inch. If I find 6-inch lags, that's what I'll use. But I would put. I guess the issue is horizontal. There's nothing horizontally. This is a work in progress. Again, I've watched so much information, you'd think you just pick a set of plans and follow those. Nope. This is a mishmash of different ideas put together. And this thing is such a goofy. I don't understand why in the world it does what it does. Oh well. Yep, I got plans. Made them up myself. And then people are like, yeah, but you're going to do what, 12-inch on center or 16-inch on center? I'm like, nah, I'm going to break all the rules. I'm going to do 18. It meets code. It meets the code, but it's not going to be spaced like it doesn't matter. Mishmash. It meets code. It meets the code. Where in the world? So it'll be nice. It'll be all right. It'll be better than what was there. I'll tell you that much. I will tell you that much right now. But in regards to the topic of the night, this was not the topic of the night. I just figured I'd share the updates, and then I'll actually try to live stream my work. Show the world. I like how I refer to the 3 people that watch my YouTube channel as the world. But you know, you got to start somewhere, right? The size is 85 inches by 129 inches, not including the stairs. 85 by 129 inches. Inches. That is the size. So it'll be interesting. Getting everything level, getting everything exactly square, running a tape measure across the diagonals, all these different techniques. I'm gonna put them all together. We'll see what happens. We will see what happens. On that, I have very little else to add. I have my sermon this Sunday, so there's that. Gotta be with the people. They'll need help, I'm sure. The title of my sermon, which I've mentioned before, I've been working on it for quite a while, month and a half or so. The world says. The world says. But God says. Maybe I'll give a little preview. The world says. The world here. I think I've said this intro before. Weeks ago, when it was still in its developing stages. I'll read the first little bit of this. The world tells us a story that billions of years ago, nothing exploded. And then this nothing that exploded was instantly everything. Everything swirled around into bits and pieces, which came together into bigger bits and pieces. Some of these turned into fire, others turned into rock. This rock we call Earth was missing something, and a massive rock named Theia hit Earth, giving us our moon. From mixed fragments of Earth and this other thing, making Earth super hot. Might need to clean that sentence up. Giving us our moon from mixed fragments of Earth and this other thing. Yeah, it makes sense. It's just, I've got to get my, and a massive rock named Theia hit Earth, giving us our moon. I guess I need to hit comma there. That's going to help me. Giving us our moon from mixed fragments of Earth and this other thing. Making Earth super hot and bringing water with it, making steam, which formed into water. Making Earth super hot and bringing water with it made steam. See, I'm editing. I wasn't all the way done. I was going to finish up tomorrow, but may as well do some now. I'll say ice. It makes more sense to say ice. There we go. Making Earth super hot and bringing ice with it made steam, which formed into water. Water turned to ooze. Ooze turned to creatures. And eventually, all the living things we have in this world we live in. This fairy tale of chaos into order, also known as evolution, taught as truth, is the foundation of the education system worldwide. Scientists, lawmakers, and legislators, philosophers, movie makers, and producers of television programs, authors, news agencies, and all varieties of people. God tells us in His Word when Earth was made and how long we've been here. Thousands of years, not millions. God's Word to Jeremiah, as recorded in the book of Jeremiah, exposes just how far back the lie of evolution goes. I like how I definitely said back twice. Editing is a not a forte of mine, apparently. Beautiful, just beautiful. God's words to Jeremiah, as recorded in the book of Jeremiah, exposes just how far back the lie of evolution goes. In chapter 2, verses 26 and 27, the house of Israel is disgraced. They, their kings, their officials, their priests, and their prophets say to a tree, "You are my father." And to a stone, "You gave me birth." God's own people strayed far away from the truths they learned as children, adopting pagan stories as their own truth. God's word tells us who we are, how we were created, that it was by Him. Again, in that same book, Jeremiah, the Lord made the earth by His power. He established the world by His wisdom and stretched out the heavens by His understanding. When He thunders, the waters in the heavens roar. He causes the clouds to rise from the ends of the earth. He generates the lightning with the rain and brings forth the wind from His storehouses. God's word helps us understand who He is, His awesome power. A lot of people, as well as my past self, would check out when reading most of these sorts of verses. He brings forth the wind from His storehouses. However, I have a renewed awe in the mighty power of our God. The world would have you react to these words with, "But that's just a metaphor," or "You can't take everything in the Bible literally," or "The Bible isn't a science book." Well, let me tell you right now, I trust God. I trust that the Bible that you have and that I have is His word, preserved and handed down to us, that God wants to know us and for us to know Him, and that we can truly know Him by trusting His words. We have come to reject the notions of mockers and haters of God, and I'm not ashamed of believing God. The world tells you to trust the science, all the while having long abandoned the meaning of that word. The Bible certainly has metaphor. There are all sorts of literary devices throughout the Bible, and it isn't very hard to know when something is meant to be literal or not. I'm sure you've heard context matters a time or two. In some cases, there are statements in the Bible that mean something in a literal sense and also have a metaphorical significance. Let me give you an example from the words of Jesus in Matthew 11. "Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me. For I am gentle and humble in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy, and my burden is light." If it's not obvious, rest here has both literal and metaphorical significance. God's word says that we have no excuse not to know His glory and who He is. There are so many distractions, though. I am so encouraged by the likes of Nebuchadnezzar, though. What a mess. What a train wreck of a guy. I don't know about you, I've been in some tough places, but by the grace of God so far, I haven't been out in the pastures, grazing on all fours. In the book of Daniel, from the mouth of Nebuchadnezzar, the one who had been on all fours out grazing in the fields, after his redemption by God, he uttered this acknowledgement. For his dominion is an everlasting dominion, and his kingdoms endures from generation to generation. All the peoples of the earth are counted as nothing, and he does as he pleases with the army of heaven and the peoples of the earth. There is no one who can restrain his hand or say to him, "What have you done?" The world says, "Where is God?" Or "God is dead," or "God is something we made up." They say, "The God of the Bible is mean and cruel." And they say, "Jesus was just a man." They say, "The Bible is just a book written by men." People start sentences with words like, "If God is fill in the blank, then why does bad thing happen?" Or, "I'd never believe in a God that ... As it says in Psalm 10, "In his pride the wicked man does not seek him. In all his schemes, there's no God." Sometimes the lies we hear are so common we don't even notice them anymore. They no longer have the same foul stench as they would if it were our first time hearing them. They call that being desensitized. Sometimes we hear people say things that are so without thought or consideration that if we weren't as nice as we are, we would probably laugh or maybe weep. Sometimes it can be hard sometimes it can be hard though, especially in the moment, to address some terrible thing that someone is saying. I encourage you to find your encouragement, your defense, your strength, and all that you need in God's words. Because these things we know from the only source of perfect truth. And then I proceed to flood the Bible verses. I mean, words. I've had a word counter up. Tools. Where's the word counter? Word count. Display. 18 and 134 words. It's not super long. I think both times I've gone, yeah, see, it's only 5 pages. I think I've done like 7 pages in the past. But what it allows me to do, I'll be able to speak a little slower, give a little bit more emphasis in certain areas, intentional pauses and stuff like that. Is there going to be an audio recording? No, I considered doing that both times before, but I didn't. It's a small church, and I just decided not to. Plus, I have the sermons, so I can always just take and read them right here. So there's that. There you have it. What a topic. I hope it's edifying. I hope it lifts people up. Maybe you're encouraged by those words. I don't know. What I do know is for this evening, I'm unusually worn out. And I'm going to call it a wrap. And sometime over the next week, you'll find me outdoors. I will try to stream my work on the porch. Maybe it will be helpful to somebody. That's all I got. God's peace to you, and follow Yahweh, not my way.